This is an example of the finishFloors bulk floor creation for Revit workflow. I've got a copy of Revit's Advanced Sample Project open in Revit 2012. What I'm going to do is go up to my Revolution Design tab on my workflow panel and use this Create finishFloors option. However, first I'm going to pre-select this entire second floor because for now I just want to create finishFloors on the second floor. There is an option for finishFloors where if you pre-select, it will pick out all the rooms in the selection and ignore anything that's not a room, and it will work only with the rooms in the selection. If I have nothing selected, it will pick all the rooms in my project and work with all of those rooms. There will be no filter. Okay, so right now, like I said, I only want to work with the second floor, so I'm going to pre-select this, go back to my Revolution Design tab and hit Create finishFloors. This will bring up my main dialog. This dialog has three separate parts: floor types, finish code mapping, and room settings. My finish code mapping allows me to map my finish codes to a specific floor type. Finish codes are just, this will list out the text that was pulled from the floor finish parameter in the rooms themselves, in either all of the rooms in the project if that's what if we have no pre-selection, or from the rooms within the selection. So it'll list out each different text field that it finds there, and it will allow you to map a floor type to it. So in this case I've got a finish code of CPT1 filled out in my project, and I'm saying that that is map type to the floor called type finish carpet type 1. You can see I can drop this down and map this to any floor type within the project. This is simply a list of all the types within the project. When I go through all my codes and have them all set how I want to, I can hit this Save Mapping button, and that will be saved for future uses and for the floors by click function and everything else. Once I have a finish code map saved, it will pre-populate all of this down here, which we'll go through in just a second, to the proper floor types. Okay, now on these room settings, we've got first of all a phase drop down. This project I only have new construction, so it really doesn't matter, but if you've got a multi-phase project and you want to, especially if you have no pre-selection and you have all of your rooms listed and you want to filter them by phase, you can show only a specific phase. Okay, now this grid down here gives me a couple things. I've got the create column here. You can see if I uncheck any of these, it grays out, and that means that a floor object will not be created in that room. So probably actually stairs I can just leave off here. Some of these other ones I do want a floor in. Second column here is the level. Again, I pre-selected only second floor, so you'll see the only rooms listed are on the second floor. But you can sort by level if you've got multiple levels in your selection, or if you have all rooms selected. The room number and the room name just telling me what it is. This will read out my finish code. Again, I can sort by this and manually set these if I would like to. But this tells me what finish code. Again, this is just the text in the room finish, or the floor finish parameter within the room itself. And then this current floor type tells me if there is a floor that's currently associated, a finished floor that's currently associated with that room. In this case, this is the first time I've run this command, so there's no finished floors in any of the room. But this just notifies me if there's one that's already in it. So I can either not create it, or I can replace it, or whatever I would like to do. And then lastly, this is the new floor type that will be created in that room. You can see these are already filled out. That's because I have my finish code mapping filled out. So you can see anywhere I've got finish code of CPT1 in this room, it's going to set it to floor finish carpet type 1. And VCT1 is set to VCT and wood flooring, etc., based on my finish code map. Okay, so once I've got these all set how I want, my last option is this checkbox here. It says replace floors currently associated with specific rooms. Again, this is not going to matter for me right now because this is the first time I've run this command and there is no current floor type in any of these rooms. If I had run this command before and there were some floor types in here, having this checkbox on means it's going to delete those existing floors and replace them with new ones. It will take parameter values. So if you've got custom parameters filled out and stuff like that, it will repopulate those in the new floors, but it will replace them. If I uncheck this, it will leave the current floor there and create a new one as well. So you'll have multiple floors in that room, which you may or may not want, depending if you've made some manual edits. You may want to have maybe a border in a field, and you may end up with more than one floor. But most of the time you probably want to replace, leave that checkbox on, unless you specifically know that you want it off. Okay, I can also select several of these, and I can use this floor types override here to select any type and set selected rooms, so just this bank here to that type, or all rooms to that type. Again, this is probably more useful if you are creating finished floors before you have any of your finish codes or finish schedule filled out. But you can manually override them. You can also manually override just by selecting here. These are all lists of all the possible floor types in the project. Okay, so once I've got this set how I wanted, all the floors to be created and the right types, I simply hit create floors. Give it a minute to think, because it's creating quite a few floors here. And if we zoom in here, you can see it's created all those floor types. You can see it's created a floor here for the corridor, for example, is the wood floor. If we look at the room object here and go down to the floor finish parameter, or floor finish parameter, it's set to WF1. If you remember my finish code, that was set to wood flooring, so that's exactly the type that it should have created. And you can see it goes to the outer boundaries of the room. And that is essentially how you create finished floors with the in bulk. Create a lot of finished floors at once, and you automatically map them to your finish schedule.